What's going on, everybody, and welcome back to Comic Breakdown. And today I am really excited to get into some Marvel comics, starting off with the VENOM WAR Prelude. Now, this is Venom issue number 35. This is kicking everything off for the VENOM WAR. And you guys know I am freaking stoked. I'm excited. I have been waiting for this event ever since we saw Kang the Conqueror observe this. Or was it Doom? I can't remember offhand, but one of the two saw this event take place, referring to it as the Symbiote War. And this is going to be a big event. We're going to be covering every single issue of it, with issue number 1 of VENOM WAR coming out next month. But to quickly recap, to get everybody that's not caught up right to where they need to for VENOM WAR, Eddie Brock is the King in Black. He has seen into his future. He has visited the unbeyond. He has met what they call the eventuality. The eventuality is what Eddie Brock will be one day. The inevitable outcome of where his life will lead him. Because being the King in Black means being the opposite of the Beyonders. With Eddie Brock discovering this and finding himself lost in a time loop of different iterations of Eddie Brock throughout his life, from Tyro to Meridius. He found these individuals at the end of time, and while Meridius was playing at a game, this game was quickly interrupted when Carnage bursted through his chest. Carnage has turned himself into a god. He wields the all-blood Necrospear. He has become more powerful than you could ever imagine. After destroying the garden at the end of all time, believing that he killed all the Eddie Brocks, he returns back to learn the truth about Dylan Brock. Dylan Brock recently taking on the persona of Codex and wielding the All Black. It appears that he's creating a hive mind of his own, and so in the coming war, we are going to see a clash between father and son. Dylan and Eddie Brock will face off. Now, make sure you guys have subscribed to the channel, make sure that you like this video, and with that being said, let's dive into this breakdown. Alright gang, so as we dive into this issue, we pick up with all the Eddie Brocks. Bedlam, Meridius, the true Eddie Brock, they're all falling through time after Carnage had stabbed the entire mass of the symbiote that was the garden. It imploded, creating this singularity. That singularity dumped them all falling through this time. And of course, Meridius immediately begins blaming Eddie Brock, trying to force him out of the time stream, trying to spread his atoms through history one limb at a time. But when Wild and the others step in, they let Meridius know that he is no longer in charge. They all have seen Meridius's hand. None of them are connected anymore. Now they're just temporal offshoots of Eddie Brock, the King in Black. And so now the odds are 4 kings against 1. As the King in Blacks close in on Meridius, we see him transported away. He lands in the late Cretaceous period, and Meridius bonds himself to a Tyrannosaurus Rex, sealing away Meridius at least for the time being. This is something that they'll probably have to deal with later, but right now they have more pressing matters. They have all seen what happens to Dylan because he left. The vision that had been ripped from Meridius's mind was the vision of Venom World. Eddie Brock believes that this is real, that this is their future if Dylan keeps the Venom symbiote. The future that Meridius was trying to create. The whole planet as Venom. And so Eddie Brock wants to set things right. With him being the only one that has a human body, he's nominating himself. That they're gonna go back and try to figure out how to stop all of this. To find his son, find his other. And if there is anybody that steps in their way, they are gonna hurt him bad. This is what takes us to our Venom symbiote. Right now, Venom is feeling like all he does is hurt. Now, Dylan is alive. Meridius told him so. Somewhere in the city, he's alive. And Venom could find him, he could help him, but he feels like all he does is hurt, all he does is kill. Every cell in his body or his symbiotic goo is screaming for a fresh victim, fresh communion. He knows that he has free will, that he has a choice, that he is not caged by himself. In the trash, he finds what chocolate scraps he can, enough to get strength and head out. What Venom wants to do is find a place where nobody would use it, a place to die slowly, going to the one place he knows would never be tempted to wear him, not after last time. This is where we see that the symbiote finds himself in the closet of Peter Parker. That's where we pick up with Dylan Brock, with Sleeper waking him from his sleep having a nightmare. Before him, we have the symbiote Sleeper and we have Flexo. We know that Flexo was sent by Doom. This is Doom kind of tipping the scale in Dylan's favor. But recently, Dylan has been having nightmares of the eventuality of his father, the King in Black. He's not really sure what all of this means, but he knows that at one point he did see the eventuality. He wasn't sure what it was, but he could assume that it was his father, that it spoke to him in his father's voice. It gave him 5 questions, asking if he died, what happens to Venom? And the eventuality told him. It showed him exactly what Eddie Brock would become. He had put this whole crew together to help find his dad, to bring him back from wherever he went. But now he finds himself scared to death of his father walking into the room. As he says these words, this is when someone walks into the room. At first, Dylan believes this to be his father, because he hasn't seen his dad since they had tried to kill one another. This is when Eddie Brock was Bedlam. Now, Dylan doesn't understand the full story just of yet, but it seems like he's about to learn it, because standing before him is not Eddie Brock, but this is Dylan Brock. This is Dylan from the future. He tells him that things are about to get really crazy, and welcome to the war. That will be the end of this issue. So let me know what you guys think down in the comments. I, for one, am super excited about this storyline. This event, this little, I don't know if we can call it little because it's got a lot of issues. Makes me kind of happy that I tapped out on Blood Hunt, but I'm going full force into Venom. Possibility of Peter Parker yet again wearing the Venom symbiote. And then we have the war that is slowly brewing up. Now, there's definitely going to be more to this story because based off what we've seen, there's not necessarily a reason for them to go to war. But that is all dependent on what the future version of Dylan Brock has to say. This Dylan Brock, obviously, having some years, he's going to be going through the ringer. He's going to have a lot of information to dump on us, and we're going to learn exactly what all this means. Why we ultimately have the war to begin with. You know, Marvel's been building up this story for quite some time, and I am finally excited to say that it is here. We're getting entrenched in it. We're diving into it. We're understanding what is truly going on. Meridius, obviously not out of the picture, not fully dead. In fact, all the King in Black still exist, and they have teamed up with Eddie Brock. Arguably one of the strongest teams to ever exist. All of them King in Blacks. All of them Eddie Brock. But there are weapons on the battlefield that are strong enough to take them down. The All Blood and the All Black. The All Black wielded by Dylan Brock, and the All Blood being wielded by Carnage. But as we saw at the end of Carnage, there are weapons that can even take him down. How these hold up against a King in Black, that's going to be quite interesting. But let me know what you guys think. Let me know your thoughts. Let me know your theories. If you want to get caught up on everything that is going on with this series, check out the link in my description as well as the top of this video. It's going to get you caught up on everything that has been going on with both Venom and Carnage over the last 2 years. If you would like to support the channel, you can always do so by joining the channel membership. Much like Patreon, having multiple different tiers, from $1 to $50, from loyalty badges to comics every single month. Not only are you helping out the channel tremendously, but you are getting tons of perks in the process. Now, if you're unable to do this, do me a favor, subscribe to the channel, like this video, hit that notification bell, and with that being said, until the next breakdown.